lot of debate on what qualifications, how much education as far as the law, practice, how you're going to hold the gun, how you're going to store the gun, and those signs for the places that were exempt. And that is in the Concealed Carry Act. It has nothing to do with any of the other aspects. And all it does say is it's a Class A misdemeanor for a person who has a concealed carry permit to carry it into a building that has that sign. That's all that law says about that sign. It sets out how big it is and all that.
And if you talk to them in 05, that law wasn't passed till 06. So
well,
they
were 2005 or 06, I was commander at that time. When I called the city attorney, I wrote, and they told me, if you put the sign on your door with the weapon on there and slice through it, that regulates who only people with permits, and they can't bring them in if you don't run them. But
they're wrong.
Well, they told me wrong, they didn't.
That can happen.
And the law's changed since then. So
this question is for Chief Miller. Have any studies been done of anything where carrying is legal, open carry is legal versus not legal, and the statistics on if any crimes if any studies like that have been done on that?
I'm sure there probably have been. I'm familiar with the cities that, and there are some big cities that allow open carry, but there are some big cities that prohibit open carry, and I don't know that you can compare open carry cities to non-open carry cities in the same, because they're not in the same state in many cases. They're different parts of the country.
Don't we have several cities here in the state of Kansas that do or don't have open carry?
Yeah, the bigger cities have bans. The smaller cities don't. So the smaller cities obviously have less crime than the bigger cities.
The shooting in Missouri was I'm curious, what is your reasoning behind citing that particular incident? What would an open carry ban do to prevent such an incident?
Well,
completely analogous.
There's an interesting point, and that is that in that particular case, the person got into a city council meeting. The Supreme Court has promulgated rules that the courts can regulate guns in the courtroom. So if the judge doesn't want guns in the courtroom, the judge can regulate that. In this particular case, if open carry is legal without some form of action by the council, it will be legal to appear at a city council meeting open carry, because there's no regulation that prohibits it. So if any of you have been at city council meetings, the guys that are down there with the magnetometers and the x-ray machines might as well leave, because when they're there for court, that's fine. But appearing at a city council meeting will be able, unless there's a regulation passed by the council, you'll be able to open carry in a public meeting in a public building. The analogy was that's what happened in Kirkwood. It was an open meeting in an open public building, and the person got in there, but it's still a council meeting where this guy went into the building.
I think the purpose was, I was going to quote it before page, and that was because I was trying to demonstrate there are high emotions running in city meetings. The ordinance does two things. It bans them at city hall, city buildings, and that 0% case was there to show that sometimes people get really upset at the city and city hall, and that's what that case illustrates. The other thing it does is ban carrying loaded weapons in open public areas.
But isn't it a fair assessment that no amount of law can stop that murder or any shooting of people, no matter what kind of?
That's not the purpose. The purpose was to show that those are motions. Now, if somebody's carrying the gun and we can intervene and stop them before they get there, that's fine. If it's concealed, no, we're not going to stop that. I'm not saying it would stop that. I'm saying that there are high emotions running in these situations. People do stupid things sometimes. It's accidental discharges, all of that. So let's try to minimize that risk by keeping them out of these high emotion areas.
I think when I heard that, though, I was thinking that you're trying to indirectly influence the city council by saying it happened in the city council meeting. You agree that no amount of law can stop this cycle of shooting people. That we can agree on. So I'm trying, when I heard that, I was trying to understand why you say that at that time when you bring up other high emotion events that could be just as describable as the city council shooting. I thought as a peer And so here in the city council, this could happen to you unless you stop open carry.
Well, again, for those of you who've been at a city council meeting, you know there are security officers, public safety officers, public protective service officers on the magnetometers and the X-ray machine. And you have to put your purse through there. You can't carry guns. If there's no regulation, or if open carry is legal, the point is they will be able to enter into the city council meeting carrying firearms.
Well, they looking for guns on us, and we want
Well, my question seems kind of minor to the other one, but my question is: a vehicle considered to be open to the public, or considered to be a private abode?
A vehicle?
A vehicle.
The vehicle is specifically addressed in the state law.
Okay.
You can't transport a loaded firearm in a vehicle.
It's not registered.
That is correct. It's authorized under KSA, and write it down.
I have it right here, sir.
KSA 12-124, 12-16, 124. And that authorizes cities to do that. We adopted UPOC 10.1 subparagraph 5, which says you can't carry a loaded firearm in a vehicle. And that's been the law, I don't know how long. So vehicles are different. And again, that illustrates the craziness of this law. It doesn't make no sense. If we didn't do it, we need to do it one way or the other. But if I can carry it loaded down the street, but I can't put it in my car and drive home, that makes no sense.
Where do you want to get a copy?
It's on file in the city hall, online.
It is not all right, sir. Let me read the law, because I believe you're incorrect, sir. I'm just respectfully disagreeing. The law reads... I couldn't find this myself. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Right. It's not online. I mean, I checked. I would. But it says, nothing shall, this is talking about carrying a firearm, if you do not have a concealed carry permit. If you do have a concealed carry permit, you can carry a firearm any way you want in the car.
Which statute are you reading, sir?
I am doing the 12-16, 124, the Open Carry State Law. It says, nothing shall prohibit a city or county from adopting an ordinance, resolution, or regulation requiring a firearm transported in the air, land, water vehicle be unloaded, encased, or in a container which is totally encloses the firearm, or less restricting provision governing the transporting of firearm, provided such ordinance, resolution, or regulation shall not apply to persons who have a concealed carry permit. They have to pass an ordinance, resolution, or regulation to do so. If they're not, per state law, you can carry a firearm in your vehicle. It has to be in the open. But you saying Topeka has a ordinance or resolution or regulation stating that.
10.1 subparagraph 5.
May I say that again, sir?
10.1 subparagraph 5.
So in that instance, it would be, unless you have a concealed carry permit in Topeka, you could not, you have to have your gun encased in something and the ammo separated. But if they have no such ordinance, then you can carry it openly, loaded, unloaded, however you want.
I think that's right, but I think the point is we do have an ordinance that prohibits that.
I actually have a couple questions. You talked earlier about how a private business owner could, carry a weapon on their property. Say I work at, let's say, a gas station, and my boss